Welcome back, government students. I hope everyone had a nice long weekend. Today we are going to be starting our second unit in the government course. Okay, so as you can see at the top, all right, Unit 2, we're going to be focusing on politics in America. Okay, so we're going to be starting off with some of the foundations of political parties in America. Where did they develop from? Then we're really going to dig into the viewpoints and beliefs and platforms of the two major political parties in the United States. And then we're going to be focusing in on the 2020 election. Okay, so this is timed for us as kind of a lead up to the election, and then about a week before and a week after the election, we'll be looking specifically at this 2020 election. Okay, so everything's done in a very scheduled manner to help us understand and then analyze the 2020 election. Okay, so we'll get started today with our aim. Okay, so our aim is how can we summarize the role of political parties and describe their major functions. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what is the role of political parties in American society, and then how do they function? What do they do in society to try to further their political ideologies? Okay, so the do now, and this is a question, a review question, really trying to gauge where you guys are at, which says, why do you think political parties exist? What are the two major parties within the United States? Okay, you might want to start with this question down here, and then you can respond to the first part of the question. But you're trying to figure out what are the two major political parties, and then why do they exist? Why do these parties have a place in American society and in our political system? Okay, so you can pause the video now, try to think through this do now, and then we'll pick up with some notes. Okay, so our vocabulary for today. All right, a political party is a group of people who want to control government by winning elections. And I want to stress a couple of things. All right, first off, a political party is a group. Okay, match this up with that word party. All right, usually a party has multiple people. It's a group. Okay, so it's a group of people who want to control government, and to control the government, they have to win elections. Okay, especially in America, and some maybe more autocratic or dictator-based governments, that might not be the case. But in America, to have control of the government, you need to win elections. Okay, so overall, that's really what a political party is. The functions of that party is how they end up controlling government. Okay, so the major parties in the United States, we have the Republicans and we have the Democrats. Okay, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, these have emerged as the two major parties in the United States. A term we really need to understand, all right, partisanship, okay, means strong support of one political party. Okay, so partisanship means that you are very loyal to one side or one party. All right, you will also hear the term bipartisan. And this means that you are willing to work with the other side. Okay, so a lot of people, when they talk about government in America, they say that the politicians and the political parties have become too partisan. They are not willing to work with one another. They just want to advance their own ideas. This term bipartisan is the opposite. When a politician acts in a bipartisan manner, they're willing to work with the other side. Okay, the last vocab we have is party in power, and this is the political party of the president. Okay, so you'll hear the term that right now, currently, the Republicans are the party in power because Trump is in the presidency. Okay, so this is a term to acknowledge which party has control of the presidency and which party has control of kind of the political power in the United States. All right, now we're going to look into what the political parties do. And there's really four major functions of political parties. The first is they nominate candidates for office. Okay, so for example, over the summer and going into last year, there was over a dozen, I believe at one point there was 18 Democratic candidates for president. Eventually, through the primary process, the Democratic Party chose Biden, all right? And now he is running in the general election versus Trump, okay? So the Democratic Party sets up that process where they eventually get to nominating a candidate. All right, we also see the political party help candidates win the elections. All right, and as we said before, political parties don't really have much influence or power unless they are winning elections. So a lot of what political parties do is focused on winning elections. We also see that parties inspire voters to go to the polls. To win elections, you need people to vote in elections for your candidates. Okay, so a lot of the campaigns, a lot of the advertisements you're seeing currently for this upcoming election are funded in one way or another by the political parties. Also, we see that the political parties educate voters on the issues. All right, and if you are educated on the issues and if you align with what the party believes in, you are more likely to go out and vote. Okay, if you go out and vote, you're more likely to have that party win. Okay, so you see that the Democrats and the Republicans take very different strategies to try to educate voters and make them believe that their ideas and their platform is the best. Okay, so now we're going to look at our activity for today. Okay, so at this point, you should have all of this first part should be done. Okay, you also have a thinking question that should be completed, and it's your opinion, your reasoning on what action you feel is most important for political parties. Okay, so now we have two readings. All right, the first reading, as you can see by the title, is focusing on understanding the two-party system in America. Okay, so this is a historical reading. It gives you some history on where the two-party system comes from, how it changed over time in America, and how we have the system we have now. It also points out some advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so we want to use this first reading to understand, well, where did we come from? How did we arrive at the system we currently have? And then what are some pros, what are some cons of that current system? You have some questions attached as well. All right, question 4, I want to stress, this is going to be really your most lengthy response of this first reading, okay? As I said, this should be a detailed multi-sentence response. All right, and then we're going to look also at, in the second reading, the role of third parties. And if we talk about the Democrats and Republicans being a two-party system, third parties are smaller parties, political parties, and they usually are focused on a single or a few issues. Okay, so we have a lot of third parties in the United States. You're going to be introduced to the Green Party in this reading, but third parties usually are focusing on a smaller amount of issues, and they are advocating for those issues. Okay, so what you're going to be using this reading to do is try to figure out, well, what are the issues the Green Party is addressing? As you can see in this background reading here, in the 2000 presidential election, The Green Party had a candidate run, Ralph Nader, and he received almost 5% of all votes in that election. And that's a huge amount of votes for a third party. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what about this platform probably drew people in. What is the role of third parties? And could a third party in America ever win with the current system we currently have? Okay, so that's what those questions are focusing on. No summary test today. I do have live teaching today and tomorrow, so Zoom hours will be a little more limited. Please check your Google Classroom page for the Zoom office hours for this week. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I hope everyone has a great day, and I will speak with you soon.